Let's talk about technology. I was watching some of your videos a couple nights ago, and my 11-year-old daughter came up and she saw me watching your Tiny Human video, which so she was watching that, and the water's coming down, and she's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Well, it's Imogen. She's gonna be on my show." And she's like, "Don't have that lady on your show." And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't know if you're right there, Gabby." And so she walked away. Obviously, didn't take her advice, and she came back, and I was watching your Wired video, 2012, presenting, the gloves, Mew Mew, and she wouldn't stop watching you. And she's like, "You have to have her on the show." And I was like, "Okay, it's the same person." And she just wouldn't stop watching. And this speaks volumes, right?
That's funny.
And I was trying to figure out why. And when you're out there performing with your gloves on, it's more than just the gloves, because I've watched some of your performances where you're playing, a keyboard here or playing on a piano. And it's almost like I'm watching you, but you're paying attention to the instrument. And so then I have to kind of feel the instrument. But when you're on the stage with those gloves, it feels like I'm like connecting into your heart.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, that is one of the core reasons why I wanted to develop them in the future. I mean, in the past, for the future, was because I felt that on stage, I do kind of flip between various different workstations on the stage. I have like sample area over here with a keytar, and then I've got my mbira, and then over here I've got the Perspex piano and different computer and stuff, and then over there's the drums, percussion area, and then sometimes I have musicians on stage with me, and I've got little microphones on my wrists, and I was trying to capture this and sample it and in the most fluid way possible, but with the off-the-shelf gear that there was. So it was actually very rigid. I had to kind of be in one place to do something, had to be in another place to do another thing. And if I wanted to interact with my computer, then I would either have to use a keyboard or mouse or some other external controller device, which usually sits on a table and is flat. So you can't kind of, nobody can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you want to like just do something like pull up a volume or press record or bring in a loop or play an instrument that isn't a piano on a keyboard or a keyboard sound, then you're really limiting yourself. Your whole body is kind of confined to dealing with this very simple task, where you like have to go there to turn something on. And it stops the whole flow of the performance for me.
Right. So for live, it kills that connection with the audience.
Yeah.
And then also you can't go where you want to go because a fader is a one-dimensional object.
Yeah, exactly. And so even though the crowd, they say, "Oh, I love it when you're just racing around like that and you're kind of doing all these millions of things." And it is fun to watch, but what's more fun to watch and what's more fun for me to do is to actually be really in the moment. And it takes a lot of time to kind of program the gloves to get to the point of this feeling of very natural second skin, physical, emotional connection. But when it's there, it's amazing. It's just, you don't think about it. You're kind of effortlessly connecting the machine with the human and humanizing the tech that you work with, drawing the sounds and out for the software in the computer without even having to look at it. And literally feels like you're shaping sound, you're catching sound, you're moving it over there, you're spreading it across the room, you're kind of playing through some stars, you're playing the bass line like a basketball. It's really different. And when people see it for the first time, it's kind of both amazing and also kind of not underwhelming, but people assume, well, of course that's what you would do, of course that would raise the volume, and of course that would send the panning over there and over there. But it's like, when you're in a dream and you're flying, and it's like, oh, I know how this feels, but you can't actually do it in the real world. But if you could, it would be like, oh, but yeah, of course, I could just fly. And it's that when you see it on stage, it's this, that of course that's how it should be.
Right.
But it wasn't like
It took
that.
years and years to figure out those pieces. To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonreelacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Reel, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonreelacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.